Hi everyone, good evening. Welcome back. Can you see my screen, everyone? So yesterday what we discussed? Yesterday what we discussed? Console overview, right? AWS console overview and how to create AWS account, right? So everyone created the account, right? Any challenges while creating account? Any issues while creating account? Any challenges? Any issues? Anyone? So everyone created account, right? Fine. So if not created the account, you can create it today itself. You can create the account today itself. So today onwards, we'll start working on service, right? Yeah. So before going to services, let's try to understand few more services introduction today. Okay. So few more services. We have few more services, right? Yeah. Yesterday we discussed about overview like compute services, monitoring services, and also auto scaling service, right? So we have a few more important services are there. Those we can walk through. Once complete that, then we'll jump into EC2, first service, which is EC2. Okay. So today we are going through console. Today also we are going through console. From tomorrow, yeah, so we'll try to, from tomorrow, we start practical sessions. Okay. Because before going to core consoles, core services, right? So practical sessions, first we need to understand overview, right? So that is why we are going through console. If you understand overview of the console, you can easily navigate the services whenever needed. Fine? Yeah. So go back to aws.amazon.com is the URL to log into the AWS platform, AWS console. Sign into the console, click on sign into the console. Yeah, I'm able to log in my console. Yeah. So here region, this regions we discussed today. Region, zones we discussed today. Okay. Yeah. So before going to this, we'll walk through few more services. Okay. So yesterday we discussed about here compute services in which EC2, right? And management and governance here. CloudTrail, CloudWatch. These two are monitoring tools. What is CloudTrail? What is CloudWatch? Anyone? What is CloudTrail? What is CloudWatch? CloudTrail is a monitoring tool which will monitor your AWS console, right? So it is a console monitoring. For example, we are 10 team members, 10 members, we are working with one project. So who is doing what? How can we track? By using CloudTrail, right? So if you create any servers, if you delete any servers, if you expand any storage, if you delete any storage, so one log will be generated. That will be monitored by CloudTrail, right? So next one, CloudWatch. CloudWatch is a service which is a monitoring service which will monitor your infrastructure like servers, storage. So if the server is down, server is restarted, server is having some issues, CloudWatch will monitor, right? So these two are monitoring tools, very popular tools in AWS. These two are very popular tools to monitor the console and infrastructure. Next one we discussed about auto scaling also, right? So auto scaling is a service. It will monitor and adjust compute resources to maintain your application up and running fine, right? So for example, if you perform any, for example, if you take any digital sites, right? So if any application is running, if any more requests are coming in, auto scaling automatically monitors and adjusts compute resources, right? Just a minute, please. Fine. So these are the important services which are available in the management and governance, right? So next one, go down here. So we have storage services. We have storage services here, right? So click on storage. Yeah, today we are going to complete like by 6:45 or 6:50, 10 minutes early. We complete today. So because we have one new batch demo, right? So today only. So every day strictly 1 hour will be session will be, right. So today 10 minutes before or 15 minutes before we can wind up the session today. Okay. Yeah. Next one, storage service. Storage. So what is storage? Anyone? What is storage? Storage and ఏంటండి? Anyone? It is a space. It is a space, right? To store applications, databases, operating systems, we require one space, right? Yeah. So here, every platform, every cloud platform, they're trying to give best storage because everywhere we have used data sets available, right? So every organization, every project team, they're having used data sets, right? To store the data, we use different types of storages here, right? So here we have AWS backup, one of the storage, right? So AWS backup. So in AWS backup, we have different backup strategies are there, like daily backups, weekly backups, monthly backups, on-demand backups, right? So different types of backups are there. So we'll go deep dive, right? So next one, EFS, Elastic File System. This is one of the important storage, right? So Elastic File System is a storage. We can share the files across the regions and zones, right? Yeah, AWS Elastic Disaster Recovery. This is one of the service, right? So FSX, S3, S3 Glacier, Storage Gateway. So S3, what is S3? Anyone having idea? What is S3? It's a simple storage service. It is a object to storage. We can compare with Google Drive, right? So we can store any object in the S3, right? So whenever needed. So in real-time projects, we store binary files, image files, video files, audio files, KT files, ISO images, right? So everything we can store into S3, right? How can we create S3? S3 storage. How can we upload files? How can we download files? How can we monitor S3? We'll go deep dive, right? So next one, Glacier, S3 Glacier. What is the storage? So Glacier is a storage which is mainly for backups and archival, archival, right? Which is very very important storage, right? So Glacier is a storage. This is mainly used for backups and archival, right? Yeah, and Glacier is a cheaper storage compared with the other storages. So normally, for example, if any project is completed, so in that project servers, if any data is available, that data we can move to Glacier. So why we need to move the data to Glacier? ఎందుకు మూవ్ చేస్తామండి? So for example, we created 10 servers, hand over to project team. The project is completed. In that project servers, we have data, used data, right? So project completed, right? So servers we need to terminate. Terminate means delete. So before terminating the servers, we can move the data to Glacier. Why we need to move the data to Glacier? Anyone? ఎందుకు మూవ్ చేయాలండి డేటాని? To reduce the costing, right? So Glacier is a cheaper storage. Yeah, Glacier is a cheaper storage. When we move the data to Glacier, 20 times cheaper. So the costing will be reduced. Cloud is all about costing, right? So as a DevOps engineer, what we have to do was, as a cloud engineer, what we have to do, wherever we see the cost reduction, we can reduce, right? So we always monitor the services. If any unnecessary resources are there, if any unnecessary costing generating, unnecessary billing is generating, so we need to reduce the costing, right? Which is nothing but cost optimization. Okay. Next one, gateways, storage gateways. To connect our storage, we require gateways. Okay. So these are the important services in which we go through a few important services. Okay. Next one, security, identity, and compliance. What is this? So in which we have very important service, which is IAM. What is IAM? Anyone? Identity and access management, right? So in real-time projects, we always log in as a IAM user. We don't use root user. In real-time projects, everyone from fresher to directors level, everyone use IM account only, right? So if you use root account, for example, we are 10 members, team members. If everyone using root account, how can we track, right? So that is why. So always everyone use IM account only. In real-time projects, root will be disabled. For troubleshooting, unique account, yes. Everyone will have their.
Team contains 10 members, 10 IL users.
Yes, yes. If any 1,000 members are there, 10,000 members are there, we need to create all the accounts, IM accounts. Yes. So we can control. So when we create IM account, we can give permissions, we can give policies, right? Yeah, we can control the users centrally. We don't need to give permissions to individual. Normally we create user, add into group. So we apply the permissions to group. Whoever added into the group, they will get the permissions. Whatever permissions we assign to the group, that will reflect to the users. So IM is a very important service. We'll go deep dive, right? When we work on IM, how can we create user? How can we give permissions to user? How can we switch to user? How can we exit from user, right? So what are the things available inside of this? We'll try to understand. Fine. Next one, networking and content delivery, which is very important service. Networking and content delivery. So here we have VPC. What is VPC? Virtual private cloud, right? So this is a very important. Okay, so route S3 also important. Yeah, so route S3, route 53, not S3, route 53. Route 53 and VPC, these are very important services. Yeah, now we'll try to understand VPC, virtual private cloud, right? Yeah, see here, this is the region. This is region. What is region? Anyone? Region and entity. Region and entity. Anyone having idea?
Collection of data service.
Yes. Region is a data center, right? So here we have different regions are available. See here, these are all regions. US, US regions, Europe regions, APAC regions. APAC means Asia Pacific, and Africa regions, right? Different regions are there. Canada region, different regions. Okay. Let's try to understand here. AWS regions and zones. Right? Yeah. Now this is our region. For example, this is our region. We can say this is Mumbai region. Yeah. So this is Mumbai region. Region is a data center. We know, right? Right. So region is a data center. So under this region, again, we'll be having availability zones. Availability zones. What is availability zone? Anyone? These are availability zones. Availability zone 2A. Zone 2B and 2C. Three zones are there, right? Yeah. So under this Mumbai region, we have availability zones, right? So these are the three zones available instead of under this Mumbai region. So region is a main data center within India. In India, region is a main data center. Under this region, again we have availability zones. What is availability zone? Availability zone is nothing but it is a, we can say it is a DR data center. So availability zones also data centers, but here we can say DR data center, disaster recovery data centers. These are the disaster recovery data centers, right? Yeah. So what is the availability zone? What is the use of availability zone? We'll try to understand now. Okay. Yeah. Availability zone is a data center. We know that. What is the use of availability zone, right? So let us say, for example, in 2016, major floods happened in Chennai. Major floods happened in Chennai, right? So by the time most of the IT area affected, most of the IT companies shut down, right? By the time, so this availability zone also down, Chennai availability zone. So for example, this is Hyderabad availability zone. This is Bangalore. This is Chennai. Yeah. So in 2016, yeah, major floods happened in Chennai. By the time our AWS zone also down, availability zone, right? So if the zone is down, whatever servers are running on this availability zone, whatever applications are running on this availability zone, whatever databases are running on this data center, so what about that applications? Everything will be down, right? The data center is down, everything will be down, right? Yeah. So by the time 2016, when the floods happened, by the time no electricity. So because of water came into IT companies, right? No electricity, no diesel to run the generators, no drinking water also, right? So by the time our employees they came from Chennai to Hyderabad, they work from here. By the time, okay. So 15 days, this data center is completely down, right? Data centers, IT companies, most of the area, most of the IT companies, okay. Yeah. So for example, if any database are running here, if any applications running here, everything will be down, right? So what will happen? Customer business will be impacted, right? So for example, we are using Flipkart application. Flipkart application hosted on Chennai data center. So this data center is down. Flipkart we cannot access. Flipkart site we cannot access, right? Yeah, fine. So this availability zones, what will happen here? Yeah, this data centers will like for example Hyderabad data center. So Hyderabad data center, whatever applications are running here, whatever database is running here, so that will replicate to nearby data center. So every 2 minutes data will be replicated like this. From one zone to other zone, data will be replicated like this. So if any one data center is down, what will happen here? For example, Chennai is down. Whatever applications are running on Chennai data center, those will be accessible from Bangalore or Hyderabad without any downtime. This will maintain, right? So if Chennai is down, our application will not be down anywhere. Our servers will not be down anywhere. So our servers will be accessible from Hyderabad or Bangalore, right? So whoever accessing that applications, they don't know from where we are accessing, right? So automatically switch to other data center, which is nothing but a high availability. So AWS is providing high availability, right? So our applications will not be down anywhere. So when any data center is down, right? Yeah, fine. So this data will be replicated from one data center to other data center every 2 minutes, right? So whatever data is, yeah. For example, I added some files here. I added some applications here. That will replicate to Hyderabad, right? Yeah. So like this, every 2 minutes, data will be replicated, right? Yeah. So this data centers, if the cloud platforms like AWS or Azure or Google Cloud, so when they want to establish these data centers, What they check? They check 100 years of historical data. So previous history they will check when they want to build any data center, right? So because any floods are going on, any earthquakes are going on frequently, any terror attacks are going on, right? They will check all the history, previous history, then they establish the data center, right? Yeah. So in Hyderabad also we have one data center, Nitec City area, backside of TCS. Okay. So few years back they planned in Vizag, Visakhapatnam. So after Udut, they cancelled that. They moved to Kolkata, right? Udut major effect happened, right? Major disaster happened. So by the time they cancelled that, they moved to Kolkata. So currently one more data center is in Kolkata. Fine. So when they want to build any data center, they check 100 years of historical data because this data centers globally accessible data centers. We can access from anywhere. The applications which are hosting on these data centers, we can access from anywhere, right? Yeah, that is why these data centers are very critical data centers, right? So Hyderabad is the best place for data centers. No major floods, no major earthquakes, right? No major terror attacks, right? So Hyderabad is the best place for data centers, right? Yeah, fine. So this one zone is down, nothing will be happened, our applications will not be down anywhere, right? So even though region is down, complete region is down, our applications will not be down anywhere. So our applications will be accessible from nearby edge location, right? So for Mumbai region, what is the edge location? Which is Singapore, nearby. Our applications will be accessible from Singapore, right? Sydney also there, nearby location, right? So data will be replicated to zone, region to region also. That mechanism is there, right? So this regions zones configured by AWS only. We don't need to touch this, right? We don't need to worry about. So regions zones will be configured by AWS only, right? So under this zone, under this availability zone, we create we create one network which is VPC. Under this availability zone, we create VPC. So this VPC will be taken care by DevOps engineers and cloud engineers. Cloud engineers, not DevOps, cloud engineers, right? So this VPC will be taken care by cloud engineers, right? So what is VPC? VPC is a virtual private cloud, right? So which is a virtual network. Instead of the physical network, we can create our own network, custom network, right? Yeah. So why we require our own network? So for example, in AWS platform, AWS cloud, AWS data center, so many companies they are using resources, right? So if you use default VPC, default network, yeah, so everyone can access that. Security will be there, but so we cannot customize as per the requirement, right? So that is why we can create our own network. Instead of this own network, we can create our servers, switches, storages, so that those will be in our control, right? Yeah. So VPC is a virtual private cloud, right? So instead of this VPC, we create subnets. What is subnet, anyone? Subnets we discussed already in basic servers networks.
It's a
We
small network inside a large network.
Yes, it's a small network instead of the large network, right? Yeah. So these are the subnets. So when we talk about subnets, two types of subnets are available here, which are like public subnet and also private subnet. Yeah, subnet is nothing but it is a small network instead of the large network. Why we create small network here? For example, so we have 1,000 servers are there, in which 300 servers are development servers, 300 servers are QA servers. QA means quality assurance testing servers. 400 servers are production servers, right? So all these servers are configured in one subnet, right? So if you configure in one subnet, what will happen? Subnet range will be same so that they can communicate each other. So when we configure servers in same subnet, one subnet, the subnet range will be same so that they can communicate each other. Normally, production servers should not configure in development subnets. Production servers should not configure in QA server subnet because so production servers, for example, if you have database servers, so if you allow inbound traffic to the database servers, there will be chances to leak the data, right? That is why so we need to divide into groups, sub networks, small networks. So when we divide into groups, what will happen? Subnet range will be changed so that yeah, we can restrict the traffic. You can control the traffic. That is why we create the sub networks, small networks, right? Yeah. So here we have two types of subnets are there, which are public subnet, private subnet. What is public subnet? What is private subnet? Anyone? What is public subnet? What is private subnet?
Public subnet allows inbound and outbound. Private subnet don't allow inbound traffic.
Okay, fine. So public subnet is a subnet we can access through internet. In public subnet, we can create public servers. So those public servers we can access through internet, right? So private subnet is a subnet we can access through intranet. You understand, right? For example, we have Google application, Google, Google, Facebook, right? Yeah, YouTube. These are all public applications. Those we can host in public servers. So instead of this public subnet, we create public servers. Here we can create public servers. In private subnet, we can create private servers. So this public servers you can access through internet, right? So if you want to access Google application, directly you can access, right? You can open a browser, you can access. That is public server. Through internet we can access. But private servers we can access through intranet. Intranet means within the organization, right? So if you want to connect your private servers, how can we connect? For example, you have official laptop, your office laptop. If you want to connect your office network, how can you connect?
Using VPN.
VPN. VPN.
Through VPN,
VPN.
right? You connect VPN. VPN will allow you to connect your private network, right? Yeah. So in public servers, we host public applications. In private servers, we host private applications, right? So every organization will have public, private servers. In public servers, they host company websites and job portals. They host in public servers, right? So private servers they host internal applications like Outlook servers, Outlook, Skype for Business, Teams, internal applications, and leave management system, time card entry application. What is time card entries? It's a attendance, right? Swipe in, swipe out, time card entries, right? Those applications will be hosted in our private servers. Within the organization, we can access that, right? For example, so this is public application. This is public application hosted in public subnets, public servers, right? So private application, time card start. So this is the private application. Can you mute everyone? Some background noise is coming here. Public application we can access through internet. Private applications we cannot access through internet. We can access through intranet. If you want to access that, you need to connect VPN. VPN will allow you to connect your private network. When you connect VPN, this will be open. Right? Got it right? Any questions up to here? Anyone?
Uh, Yeah, I have one question on the region and availability zone. You said availability zone is the DR data center, right?
Yes, yes, correct.
So the active data center will be there in the region.
Hmm. Yes,
Okay, so whatever the server we are creating on the active region, I mean active data center, the replica will be available on the availability zone.
exactly. Yes, correct. The data will be synchronized, replicate to
By
the,
default, will replicate or someone need to configure that one.
yeah, AWS configured already. They will replicate, the data will be replicated automatically. That configuration will,
AWS admin or no need to replicate.
no, no,
By
no.
default,
By default, by
zone to
default.
zone.
Yes, yes. Zone to zone.
Okay, there. So that means the region also have the same kind of picture like availability zone. Under this, they have everything.
Yeah, region also same. So
That
region, basically what will happen? Yeah, go ahead, please. Go ahead. Can you
Yeah,
give your
sorry.
question?
So the availability zone, assume that we have three availability zone. In the three
Hmm.
availability zone, we have a two data center on each availability zone. Okay. So
Hmm.
the same replica will have it on the regional, I mean region data center as well.
Yes, yes. Even region is down. In case region is down, we can access our data from other region. Regions are zones, right? So within the region, zone to zone replication will be happening. So regions, one region to other region, backup will be happening. So in yeah, few months
Okay. Under
back,
the region only, we will have the availability zone, right?
yes, yes, correct. If the region is down, yes, exactly. If the region is down, availability zone also will be down. Got it
Yeah,
right?
correct. Correct.
Yeah. Main region is the main data center. The region is down, availability zone also will be, communication will be down, right? Yeah. Few months back in the US, one of the region was down. By the time the data accessible from North Virginia and other data centers, other regions, right? Yeah. So this regions zones configurations will be taken care by AWS only. We don't need to worry about this, right? So under this availability zone, we create VPC that will be maintained by cloud engineers. Okay. Yeah. So this VPC here we have entry questions. Two entry questions are there here, right? So very simple question, very common question. Interviewers ask you how many VPCs you have in your project. How many VPCs you have in your project, right? So we need to tell them like two or three VPCs only maximum, right? One is development VPC, one is testing VPC, one is production, or else one is development, one is production. So we should not tell more than three VPCs. If you tell more than VPCs, you'll get more questions. So because maintaining VPCs is heavy pricing, right? So when I take interviews in my project, right? So 1 month back, so I asked this question: how many VPCs you have in your project, right? So the person told that we have 12 VPCs. If you tell that like that, so inter easily understand you don't have any hands-on experience, right? So they'll ask you many questions. So how many environments you have? What are the applications hosted on that? Right? How you are managing? So like this, you will get more questions. That is why maximum two or three VPCs you can tell, right? So and one more entry question is what is subnet? What is the use of subnet? Subnet is a subnetwork, small network. Use of subnet is to control inbound outbound traffic, right? And public private subnet also we need to explain. What is public subnet? What is private subnet? Public subnet is a subnet we can access through internet. Private subnet is a subnet we can access through intranet. These are the important questions, right? So when you get this networking questions, yeah, you need to speak confidently. Otherwise, they understand. Yeah, I don't have any hands-on experience, right? So in real-time projects, we don't get a chance to create VPCs because only one-time activity, VPC one-time activity, right? So how to create VPC, how to create subnets. Instead of the subnets, how can we create private servers, public servers? We can see practically. So we go deep dive, right? But in real-time projects, creating VPC, it is a one-time activity, right? So we don't get chance to create VPC. Okay, but we get interview questions. Sometimes we create subnets. We create servers always instead of the subnets. That we need to understand. Okay. Fine. So this is a networking concept, completely networking concept. We'll go deep dive while working on this. Fine. How to assign network IP ranges? How can we assign ranges, IP ranges? How can we communicate from one zone to other zone, one subnet to other subnet, right? So that we will see practically. Fine. Any other questions? Anyone up to here?
Yeah, one more question. So if you created a VM on, instance on the one of the availability zone, you said
Hmm.
the replica will be, you can access from, if the availability zone is down, you can access it from the, it will be available on the available availability zone. In case if the
Yes.
region is down, right, you said we can access it from the nearby region, that is from the Singapore or Sydney. So
Hmm.
the region to region replica also available. That means I'm creating a instances on Singapore location. Singapore region.
Hmm.
Will the
Hmm.
replicas happen from the Singapore region to other region as well?
Yes. If the region primary region is down, then only second region will be enabled. If the primary region is not down, not it's working fine. Second region we cannot access. If the zone is down, then only secondary zone will be accessible. That will be enabled automatically.
Okay, so how do I verify if the replica is happening or not?
That we don't
Because
take.
I'll
That
I'll be
don't.
selecting the region, right? And the options will be selecting the region before we create instances,
Hmm. No, no, no.
right?
Basically, which if any zone is down or region is down, we will get some alerts, but we cannot check that because AWS will take care. So in AWS, as a cloud engineer, we'll be having 20% of the scope here. So 20% of the activities will take care here. 80% of the activities will be taken care by vendor, cloud vendor only, because they have their own data centers there, right? So we manage 20% of the activities only as a cloud engineer. So if you have any major issues, we need to coordinate with the AWS. If any network is down, data center is down, we cannot do anything. We need to coordinate with the AWS only because they have data center. They are managing the data center, right? Yeah.
Okay.
So for example, so this is the region, right? So I'm accessing North Virginia here. If the North Virginia is down, automatically this will switch to other region, Ohio or North California or Oregon.
Include availability zones.
Yes, yes,
For this is down.
yes. Instead of that, Ohio or North California, again zones are there. Every region will have zones. Okay, if I access, if North Virginia is down, automatically it will switch to Ohio, US East to Ohio, right? So that we can see here, but we cannot control that. We cannot rectify that issue. That will be taken by vendors only, AWS vendor.
You mean
Fine.
we will not aware what is the edge location for our region, right?
Yeah, correct, correct. Yes. Fine. So these are the important services, and a few more services we have, which are like here elastic IPs, right? So normally we use public IP, private IP. In public IP, we have dynamic IP, static IP. We discussed already basics. Again, we'll go deep dive this. Okay. What is elastic IP? Elastic IP is a IP which is a permanent IP, static IP. It never change automatically, right? So in real-time projects, always we use the elastic IPs only. Okay. So this is elastic IP. So while working on elastic IPs, we'll go deep dive. Next one, security groups. Security groups. What is security group? Security group is a virtual firewall. It is a virtual firewall. What is firewall? Anyone? Security group is a virtual firewall. What is firewall?
To verify the traffic.
Firewall
It is
is
a
the
software
rules.
Firewall is the
It is a defense
software
firewall.
system
and
which allows
controls the
traffic.
inbound out.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Security group is a firewall. Firewall is nothing but it is a network security device. Firewall is a network security device. So by using firewall, we can control inbound, outbound traffic. So firewall will work based on firewall rules. We create the rules, right? So it will not allow unauthorized access. It will allow authorized access, right? So that firewalls, how can we create? How can we create security groups? How can we control the traffic? How can we deny the traffic? How can we allow the traffic? We'll go deep dive, right? So this concept is very important. From day one, we'll work on this security groups. So once we start working on EC2, okay. Tomorrow we'll start EC2. By the time I'll show you. Okay. Next one, SNS, simple notification service. Just 5 minutes. Okay. Yeah, simple notification service, SNS. Okay. What is SNS? It is a simple notification service. It is a notification service. It will notify through emails, right? Yeah. So why we require these notifications? Okay. For example, auto scaling. We use auto scaling. If any in the auto scaling, if any servers are added or any servers are removed, what is auto scaling functionality? We discussed already. What is auto scaling?
To batch
It will scale up and
network
scale
traffic.
down the servers.
Scale up and scale down servers, right? Some fixed servers will be there, base servers. Yeah, those base servers, if the servers are unable to manage the applications, so what will happen? Auto scaling automatically servers added here, right? Auto scaling will add the servers, right? So any server is added, SNS will send one notification. Any server is removed, it will send one notification, right? SNS concept, which is very important. So we'll discuss. So one more concept which is SQS, simple queue service. SQS, simple queue service. What is SQS? It is a simple queue service. Yeah. For example, where we use this service, we use online shopping, right? We book some products. When we book any product, we get one SMS. Your product has been placed, right? And once the product is moved to your city, came to your city, the product is out for delivery. Once you receive the product has been delivered successfully. We'll get an SMS, right? Every stage. So we'll send that, SQS will send that. Whenever any changes happen in the system, automatically will send notifications. SQS, right? For online shopping, so digital sites, we use the SQS service. Okay. So these are all important services. Okay. So we have few more services. We have databases, right? And NLB, network load balancers. Okay, those we'll see practically, right? Directly we can work on practically. Fine. So tomorrow we'll start EC2. EC2 is the first service to create servers. EC2 instances we use EC2, right? How can we create EC2 instance? How can we connect instance? How can we deploy the packages on the instance? Okay. How can we manage the instances? We'll see that from tomorrow onwards. We'll start working on EC2.